money, and racing.
Welcome to the Dogcast for Greyhound Racing SA. Visit grsa.com.au.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Dogcast, brought to you by Greyhound Racing SA. I'm your host, Brenton Yates, and alongside me today is Greyhound Racing SA's racing manager, Shaun Mathieson, and we have got a big week ahead as we lead into Chrissy. Matho, welcome.
Hello, Yatesy. Yeah, great to be here. As you mentioned, leading into Christmas, one of the feature events of the whole calendar now. It's only in its second year, the Festival of Fire, but it's got a real, really building and a great initiative by obviously the GRSA board and management to sort of put these sort of races on as a lead up to Christmas. And as mentioned, what a wonderful field, of races we've got on Thursday night, and as mentioned, one of the highlights of the year. And
the way it's structured, we'll get to that shortly, but it made for some competitive racing, didn't it? Like the way it's all set up, and the time grade, and everyone finds their slot. There's something there for everyone. It was competitive last Thursday, so I'm really looking forward to reflecting back on that. So, yes, we'll preview the big night this Thursday at Angle Park. We've got 6 great features on the Festival of Fire, and look, it's been a big month of racing, so we've had a few features since our last episode. We'll check back in on those as well.
Week in review in 3, 2, 1.
The Week in Review.
As always, Week in Review brought to you by the Fresh Pet Food Co. They are proud suppliers of fresh pet food for our GAP SA Greyhounds in the GAP Prison Program, and they are based right here in SA. You can visit their website, of course, freshpetfoodco.com.au for more info. Look, it's more about our month in review, really, Matho, because it's been a little while since we've touched on some of the features, and a bit of water's gone under the bridge, so to speak, in the last little bit. And let's rewind back to late November. We had the final of the Group 3 Brian Johnston.
Yeah, absolutely. A time-honoured event, one that a lot of the trainers are much sought after winning. SA-bred dogs, restricted age. And we saw Greg Board get a feature race win, which was terrific for Greg, with Spring Honour taking out the feature final. I think you might have actually tipped him as well on top.
Yeah, it was. I had it $7 or $8. Now, look, that was early markets, of course, and a couple of the favourites were not going to get a start because they were the reserves in the field. So, it started around $4.40 or something, but I just thought it might find the lead. It turned out to be that way. Had to do a little bit of work early, but then was able to get over. And I thought it was pretty brave because there was some challenges coming, but was able to keep lifting to win. Who ran home? We had Yarramundi Paul chase at home. Finish Surprise, I think, was the other one in second spot.
Yeah, I mean, good efforts by those in behind. Spring Honour did all the work out in the front. The 5:30 at Angle Park, and I've spoke to Greg previously, just struggles to get a really strong 5:30, and that'll come with time as well as he gets a bit stronger. But he just held on just in the concluding stages, and really a fitting win, and it was good on the presentation dice. Kathy Johnson was there representing the family. So, really nice touch. And I know Greg was really rapt to win the race.
Yeah, congratulations to him. And once again, in front in greyhound racing. I mean, it was just that there was a crucial stage on that first corner where it was just able to cross the 5. I think it was trying to boot through, and it sort of made all the difference in the end. As you said, it had to sort of rally again and lift to win. So well done to Greg, taking out the Brian Johnston. And Murray Bridge, now tell us a bit about this summer series. So we had the Anniversary Cup, the Summer Oaks and the Summer Derby, and pretty well patronaged as far as nominations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were rapt to get 3 heats of the Oaks, 3 heats of the Derby, very well supported by our trainers. And the racing was terrific on the final night, Sunday the 11th of December, and they had a really good crowd there at Murray Bridge on that night. Some new faces, which is always good to see on the Sunday nights out there at the bridge. But in the Oaks, Yatesy, Victor Matty went from strength to strength, particularly over the shorter course.
Victor Marley,
sorry. Particularly over the shorter, stepped to the 455, continued on its winning way. 25.56 showed really good mid-race acceleration to lead throughout. Finnis Whisper got second and Spring Cocktail for third. But I think Victor Marley, as she continues to get stronger, I know recently we've seen her step up to the 5:30, but she'll get better and better. And it looks like those Victor dogs just keep winning, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing with her, and I mean the great record at Murray Bridge, she just really seems to appreciate that there's a really nice long run going to that first turn. And she's going to take a bit of adapting. We've seen her a couple of times. We're going to see her again Thursday night at Angle Park, and she just hasn't been able to bring the same level of performance. So I'm looking forward to her sort of figuring it out and putting it together a bit going forward because she's got talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Derby. Now, Bobby Axelrod was a real drifter in the betting as well, this one, but eventually able to work through the lead and didn't have it all his own way. Really had to hunt in that first 100 metres.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a wonderful record for Dylan Robinson. That was one of the dogs that was one of the favourites for the Brian Johnson, who unfortunately didn't get a run. So it was terrific that he was able to get a feature race win for Bobby Axelrod. I reckon he's won virtually half of his races, about 12 or 13 out of 25 starts. So doing a wonderful job. But as you mentioned, had to push really hard, get to that first turn in front, and from there was able to race away by 3.5 lengths. Lochinvar Kale for David Peckham. There was support in the market for him. So he is in on Thursday night. I reckon he'll go quite good Thursday night. And San Lorenzo for Lauren Harris for third. As you can see by the place get a really strong addition to the Derby. And it's going well as well, San Lorenzo.
Yeah, and the thing with Bobby as well is it was like a sustained high-speed effort. Like he had to really hunt early, and I thought he held on really bravely as well at the end and sort of held that margin comfortably, so showed a nice bit of strength. The Anniversary Cup taken out by Ben Rawlings.
Yeah, absolutely. Spring Phoebe, Ben Rawlings' team going really well at the moment, and she's been a wonderful greyhound for connections, Spring Phoebe. I mean, she just she's very professional. She puts herself up on the speed.
Yep.
And she's getting stronger and stronger, I reckon, the more racing. We've seen her win over 595 and take out the 530 Anniversary Cup at the Bridge. So she's always a chance in anything she's in because she's always going to be up near the lead. Redeemer Prize and Sir Benjamin rounded out the three, and obviously the Anniversary Cup. December 2018 when the Bridge opened up.
Wow.
So it's 4 years coming up. So
that's flown by, hasn't it?
Oh, it has, hasn't it? It's raced by, considering all the preparation work that went into the build itself.
Yeah.
With the one turn and the straight track, and we've been there for 4 years. So terrific.
And that patch of extended period, it was a bit of a saviour as well too. Like when Angle Park was being redone, like it gave an ability to race, top level greyhounds at a nice venue.
Well, I think that was the strategic plan was when Strathalbyn was decided not to race at Strathalbyn anymore and build Murray Bridge that the industry owned, that we needed a venue that could accommodate if one of our major tracks was not racing, if Gawler wasn't racing or Angle Park wasn't racing, you probably couldn't go to Strathalbyn for a metropolitan meeting. So you needed another track of a high quality, and that's where Murray Bridge came in. And as you mentioned, has gotten us through some good periods.
Yeah. Okay, how do you want to work this? Let's unpack the Festival of Fire series as we sort of look back to Thursday night mainly. There was a bit on Saturday morning to be had as well. We can touch on that. But what about we start with sort of the feature, the Ashes? It's the big one, the big sprint. What did you make of the two heats last week?
Well, I'll be interested to get your comments, Yatesy, but in the first heat, Mally Magic went in as race favourite, but it was a wide open race, to be fair.
Yep.
It was favourite from box 2, and mid-race I thought there's no chance he could win, let alone qualify to run in the first 4. And a lot of the leaders who have got high speed sort of jammed up a little bit. But full credit to Mally Magic. He swept down the outside in the home straight and claimed them in the shadows of the post. 30.86, which is not a low-flying run, but decent enough. But to do what he did shows the high quality that he is. He got the job done. We know he's made an Adelaide Cup final, so he's going to be super hard to beat. I did think, though, the likes of Panorama and Springvale Roxy and Sister Roberta, who are all qualified, are all speed dogs.
Yep.
They got tied up a little bit off the back. So I think if one of those got a clear run, I don't necessarily know if Mally Magic could do what it did in the final, but a wonderful heat win. The second heat, Springvale Max got the job there. What did you make of that race?
I thought it was important he got to the fence. So he was able to get out and then find the rail in behind, Carmen Christie, and I think that was crucial. I'm not sure he's going to have the same sort of luck come Thursday night. And I'm with you a bit with Mally Magic. I'm not sure he's going to have the same sort of luck as well. So I'm really intrigued as to how we assess that final, as we will have that in our preview coming up. The other series, now the Bonfire. This is over the 595 metres. There was 2 heats of that as well. Talk us through this.
Well, small fields, but it is the best of the 595 metre dogs that we got in the state, and they were races 1 and 2 last Thursday night. Man of Substance, Adrian Chevalier, has been in really good form and probably liked box 8, I think, was able to jump nice and handy just on the back of Impress Us and was strong to the line, 34-33. That's a really good run. So I was impressed by his heat performance. And then in the second heat, Harry, he's a hard dog to catch, Harry, for Brenda Oakley. 34-31, challenged really hard by Run Like Jess. And I thought Run Like Jess is an experienced campaigner over the middle distance and longer journey and has been going good over 5:30 as well. I thought that pressure might break Harry, but Harry, full credit to him, he fought back really hard and strong and fought off all challenges, and it was left to Springvale Rex to challenge late in the race. 34-31, only .02 between the two heat winners. I think it's a reflection on both of those races.
What about the Flame? So we had, was it 4 heats of the Flame? This looks a really intriguing final. Take us back to the winners there Thursday.
Well, the winners were, so we had Clearview, the Flame, which was the last few race on the program, which was 9, 10, 11 and 12. So it was Victor Kurt won the first heat.
Yep.
Calix Bale, the second heat. Finis Redeem, the third heat. And Finis Whisper, the fourth heat. So you can see Lauren and Ryan have got a big hand in that final, qualifying a number of dogs. Probably what I took out of the heats, quite an even bunch of dogs. 30-71 was the fastest heat winner, Finis Whisper, to 31-11 for Calix Bale. I just think probably the dog that leads probably wins this on Thursday night. But I did like the performance of Finis Whisper in the last, was the fastest qualifier, led pretty easily and is a dog with good speed. So I did like his heat performance. What did you like in those heats?
Look, I was quite taken by Finis Redeem. I'm just putting a line through times on the qualifying getting through to this because I feel like some of these greyhounds can run a lot better with some even luck, and it's one of them. It lost 2 or 3 lengths going to the first bend. It was able to rebalance. The tearaway leader was Footloose Dreamer and then came and finished over the top late. Now, look, time-wise, 31 seconds, not super quick, but the style and the way that he went about it, that's what I liked. So I'm sort of leaning to him at this point. And look, I do concede that an on-pacer could be hard to beat, so I thought Victor Kurt would have to be thereabouts.
Sure.
I did like the closer Calix Bale too in its particular series. Now, what's the other one? We've got we had 4 heats as well of the Inferno.
The Inferno, yes, probably the most even series.
Oh, wow.
This was the middle dogs, effectively, and it's produced a wonderful final. But the heat winners were got Clearview for Tara Rasmussen, Aston Arena for Paul Fagan, Forsaken for Neil Mann, and Yankee Costanza for Ben Rawlings. A few different names, Yatesy, winning some of these races, which is really the reason we set up the series, to give everyone an opportunity across all classes and a chance at some of the big money at Christmas time. So it sets up for a wonderful final. I liked the run of Forsaken for Neil Mann. Heavily supported in the market, Yatesy.
I wonder if he can lead. I mean, he led the other night from 1, and he does like to track a bit wider than 1. Like, so the 3 to 5 range is okay for him, I reckon. So I'm interested to see if you think he can lead. I mean, we'll get to that, I guess, in the preview. But it was a really good effort.
Well, certainly box 1 helped him, didn't he, in the heat? He was able to punch through and lead, and then from there, not for catching, 30-65. Got to admit, Aston Arena for Paul Fagan. He's another dog who showed really good speed, then was challenged super hard by Gondola, who ran past him, and then Aston Arena came again on the line, 30-74 for Paul Fagan. So he was a good performance as well. But I'm interested to see what we make of the final itself, because the heats were really good and really strong, but the finals set up for a really wide open affair. Yeah,
clearly the hardest race on the program for me on Thursday night. Now, Saturday morning we had, was it 7 heats of the Spark? And we saw an impressive one here.
Yeah, 7 heats of the Spark. Just to go through the heat winners, we had Sutton Ebony, Emily Wiggum, Dashing Deb, Woodside Brocky, Primed, Victor Speed and Victor Damien. And to touch on one of those, Yates, I think most of the local industry is talking about this dog, Victor Damien. He did go across to Victoria, showed a fair bit over there, came back Saturday morning, produced 30.08 on as race 9 on a Saturday, 5:27, 17:63, a 12:40 run home. So impressive. He was able to lead against probably inferior opposition as to what he's been racing against. And Thursday night will challenge him, no doubt. 30.08, the dog's got plenty of ability and, again, really looking forward to where this dog goes. One of the most exciting chasers in the state, Yatesy.
Yeah, absolutely. At $1.07. Winning that Saturday morning.
Yeah,
get your 7% back. All right, well, that's a big, big review. And we have got a big, big preview. So stick around. That's coming up next.
Right. The preview in 3, 2, 1.
The preview.
Oh, this is the preview of all previews as well. Brought to you by SA Greyhound Tips Twitter feed. That's free tips for SA Metro Greyhound meetings. Search at the Dogs SA and jump on board. As always, gamble responsibly. Well, Matho, we've got a bit of work to cover here. Made some big, big finals, and we get underway. The first race on the program. Now, this is the Blaze, which is a no qualifying situation as far as a lead-in. It's a best 8 situation over the 7:30.
Yeah, absolutely. We've made this race one just to really kick the night off. We know how much the 700s are loved by the industry and the punters, so hopefully get them nicely involved in this. $10,000 to the winner, Yatesy. Terrific money on offer there, and it's probably brought together. I mean, our staying ranks are deprived a little bit by some of the more high-profile stayers who are either injured or just off the scene for a little bit. But it's probably brought together one of the most even staying events you're going to see with the likes of, I'll just quickly run, Me Same You, Jet Blaze, Blue Bayou, Chairman, New Year Tears, Chatting, Spring Illusion, My Mate Snow. So not many big names there, but a really even contest. I'm leaning a little bit, Yatesy, towards Chairman, who was a good run when second behind Mr. Ibrox at his last start.
Yep.
I'm a bit unsure where he's going to land early. I'd like to see him in the first couple if possible, and I think he could be too strong. But if he gets a bit too far back, the likes of My Mate Snow, who ran fast time on a Monday night, Spring Illusion's got speed. Jet Blaze was a good winner at the bridge over the 680, Yatesy, and took care of a couple of the competitors here. So I think it's a bit of an open one. I do think, Chairman, I'm going to have him on top for this one. What did you think of the race?
Look, I'm a bit in the same boat. I thought it was clearly for me between the 4 and the 8. I saw that Jet Blaze race, and they were really bobbing. Like in the home rain, the last 100, they were just all sort of going up and down.
Yep.
I'm not sure that's good enough to take out this race. Nothing against those greyhounds, of course. But I thought, Chairman, I think, the Mr. Ibrox is obviously the form lines. And if you take a direct form lines through it and My Mate Snow, I mean, it's probably definitely in front of him. But then you look at My Mate Snow's last effort, and nothing in this race has run the time that he did. So you sort of got to draw those two different variables together. And I'm going to lean to Chairman on top to beat My Mate Snow, but I feel like they're clearly the top two. And, New Year Tears probably next best for me.
Agree. I think there's a bit of exposed form with some of the dogs, but a dog like My Mate Snow's a bit inexperienced, progressing through, getting stronger and stronger. So I think the point you make's a fair one. The time that dog ran, none of these dogs have got anywhere near that. But I just think a bit of a class edge with Chairman is on the interstate form and what he's shown here. I think he's the dog to be looking for late in the race.
And he's always had market support sort of right the way through pretty much since he's been here. What about the Spark? To me on paper, is it a one-act affair? Victor Damien, unbeaten here at Angle Park.
Well, that's race 3 on the card. Again, $10,000 on offer for these 0 to 5 win dogs. Victor Damien will clearly start favourite from box 2. He showed good speed in his heat, and as we mentioned, he ran blistering time when out in front and high rolling. The concern for me is he's got Sutton Abbey, the 3, and Keen Rocket, the 4, right on his outside.
Okay.
That both have good speed.
Okay.
So I'm just a little bit worried that they might get crossed. And for mine, it then brings a dog like Woodside Brocky into the race for Graham Smith. I was really impressed with Woodside Brocky's heat win. Ran 30.60, was going to, got crossed early, and then off the back straight, had to check off heels, come around them, and then raced away in 30.60. I just think he might get a nice run into it. So I think on an each-way basis, Woodside Brocky, for me, Victor Damien, very hard to beat. If he punched through and held them all out, well, it's just times and margins, isn't it?
Okay.
But what did you make of it?
Oh, look, no, I thought it's a one-act affair.
Did you?
Yeah, clearly. Victor Damien, I think he's got lengths on him. I think he can have bad luck and still win. I mean, he's a big dog. There's not much that's going to bother him, I don't think. He can, what is he, 37 and a half? He raced last start 36 and a half,
Yeah.
a bit more. So, look, he's got a big motor, mate. I like your guts, having a shot at something outside him, but
Yeah.
I'd find it hard to see him being rolled.
What price then, Yatesy?
Oh,
What
look,
price?
I couldn't back him. If you want to chuck him into a multi, but to me, he's got to be really short. He was $1.07 the other morning. I mean, time-wise, when you look through, he's got probably 7 or 8 lengths on anything else as far as what they've been able to produce. He's got to be $1.30 or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think clearly he'll be well supported in the market. Again, it's like you can read races, and if I mean, I only reflect back a little bit when he took out the Lee Rogers. He just found a little bit of adversity, and he won in 30-80.
Yep.
It was a good run. But I'm just thinking if he's going to look to win in 30-80, there's a couple of dogs who can run that time. If he gets, I do agree with you though that if he just pushes through, then it's just all over.
Now the Flame, take us through this one. This is race 4 on the card.
Race 4 on the card. Now this is for the I suppose the lesser lights, if you like, but it's brought together a really even field, but it is wide open because a lot of these dogs run similar time. I was leaning towards, as I mentioned with the heat performance, I was taken by Finnis Whisper, and I might have actually called Finnis Whisper a he when she's actually a she, so I do apologise earlier in the show. But I think that she could actually ping out and find the front here. I went through it. The likes of Finnis Surprise and Victor Kurt, who are drawn 2 and 3, really drawn nice and handy. And Calix Bale's drawn quite good because it's a run-home type. But I thought Finnis Whisper, if she can show the speed that she's shown recently, she came through the Oak Series as well behind Victor Marley. So I reckon that's pretty good form. So I'm looking at her to ping out and lead. I think it's like virtually $4 the field here, Yatesy. So I think you're going to get value no matter which way you go. Which way were you leaning?
I was with the little brother, Finnis Redeem. I did like his run.
Yeah.
I thought he chased home really well. I thought Victor Kurt had to be right in there, led all the way and, was challenged, kept lifting last run. I can't leave Finnis Whisper out. I agree. Really liked the way it crossed over, got the 3. The 7, does it cross? I mean, Finnis Redeem went similar early, but look, possible. Yasmin Bell will be booting through, and I thought Calix Bale, I think you're spot on with the draw. Look, he finished really hard last run. It was down near the fence too, so he's got that draw. But I thought 6 was the on top for me in a really, really open race. Now, the Bonfire, we're over the 595 metres here, and Harry's got the inside draw.
He has, and I think he'll try to make full use of it, to be fair. I mean, he was a strong heat winner, as we mentioned. Man of Substance, who was the other heat winner, they've drawn 1 and 2, so they've definitely got the advantage in the draw. Going outside of that, I mean, I was looking at more so Springvale Rex for Gavin Harris. I just think he was a good run from box A in running second last start. He's a dog that does want the rails. So clearly that's the spot he likes to be. I have seen him begin in races quite good. So it wouldn't surprise me from a wide draw. I think will suit him. Just over the 595. I think the wide draw, if you can begin, you can cross over a few dogs. And so box 1 and 2 may not be the distinct advantage it might be over a 530 or something like that. So I'm leaning a bit towards Springvale Rex, where I think he might get a good run, hopefully punch through and hit the lead off the back straight and be too strong. I like the run of Orson Emmy for Wally Harkins. I think it can be flashing home at the end. And Man of Substance was a good run. I'm putting him in for 3rd. I do think, though, there's a number of chances with a bit of luck in running could certainly get the money. Which way were you leaning?
I like Harry. I thought he lobbed sort of 2nd or 3rd the fence. I thought maybe Impress Us zips over and grabs the front early, and I thought he'd maybe just boot through and sort of be right there. And I like the way, I think you touched on it really well earlier, where you said he copped that early pressure, booted through, held, and was able to rally, and I thought he won well. So I've got him on top. I think Man of Substance, the other heat winner, is the likely danger. Just not sure 2's absolutely up his alley, but I've got him in. The 7 Springvale Rex, I agree. You take a form line through its Harry run last start, and it's got to be right in this. And I thought a smoky was Sir Benjamin. I've been following him a bit, and the 2 ago I thought was really nice. I didn't think was probably as good last run, but if he brings that 2 ago run, then I think he's right in it. But Harry is the one I've got on top.
Does Harry lead, in your opinion?
No, I thought Impress Us might lead.
And Harry get the run.
I thought he'd be either booting 3/4 lengthing behind and then able to punch up and hold, or he would get the run at some point. Yep. But look, Impress Us might run a bold race in front too. Who knows? I thought it was solid enough last run. Now, the Inferno, the mixed series final here, race 6 on the card.
Well, Yatesy, I did my selections for the races, and I've crossed out a number of dogs because I'll tip that one. No, I'll tip the next one. No, I'll tip the next one.
Yeah, the dartboard out.
I did. It's that sort of race. I mean, I'll just read out this field: Aston Arena, Clearview, Spring Mayfield, Basil Brush Rose, Forsaken, Weblake Gem, Yankee Costanza, and Zipping Chew. That makes out the 8, and I reckon you could build a case for all 8 of those dogs. The dog I'm not going to tip, the dog that I'd like to tip, is Basil Brush Rose. I'd love to tip this dog because I think he is absolutely low flying, one of the most improved chasers in the state.
His form has been huge, hasn't it? It's been enormous. I mean, he gives away the start. That's the problem. But, his ability and power late, you just can't count him out of anything.
No, and he was a super run in the heat last week to flash home. He gave a big start, flashed home, 30-80 was his own run. I just can't tip him here because he's going to be near last. I mean, and he's got to get past, 6 or 7 other dogs, get a bit of luck. I mean, I was leaning a little bit more towards Weblake Gem for Kim Johnson. I reckon this dog's on the improve for Kim.
No doubt. She's found form her last 3 runs. After that win, the 2 subsequent have both been good.
Yeah. So I think the 30-60... Some people might have thought a couple of runs ago that was just a bit of a out of the box. But as you mentioned, the next couple of starts have really franked that form, going really well. I just can see her ranging up towards the leading division. And if there's a little bit of crowding there, it's going to be out with a bit of room and be able to challenge. And I'd be happy if Weblake Gem was able to sit outside the leader. I think it can be too strong over the concluding stages.
Do you reckon she'll cop pressure from Yankee Costanza?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
There'll be pressure. There'll be pressure on the inside and there'll be pressure on the outside. I'm just hoping that when the bend comes up, Weblake Gem can sort of just have enough of a margin over Yankee Costanza to just hold him out. But yeah, I think the pressure's going to come from wide. And that's sort of why I'm thinking Basil Brush Rose, which I'd like to tip, is going to be spouted out the back, and all their dogs are going to be coming back in his face. But Weblake Gem on top, Yankee Costanza I'm happy to throw in for second. I'll put Basil Brush Rose for third, but I do think it's wide open. And if an Aston Arena or Clearview began really well and was able to lead to that first turn, then it really changes the race again. But I'm leaning Weblake Gem on an each-way basis. How did you see this one?
Oh, look, impossible race. Just a terrific final. And it's going to be luck in running, majority, I think. Yeah. I've gone with Zipping Chew. Now, he was a $10 pop last run. He sort of sat out there, bided his time, and I thought he had a nice finish on him at the end of the race. Yep. I thought the 7, 6, 5 would all be pressing forward and going together, and I thought he might just be a length and a half back going around that first bend and then maybe time his run at the very end. In an impossible race, I've got him on top, zero confidence. I think Forsaken's the danger. I think if it pings and leads, then it's the one.
Yep.
Look, Aston Arena couldn't have done any more. Really liked its effort winning its particular heat. And Clearview the same. They're both heat winners, and they've drawn close to the rail. So really hard race. I've got the 8 Zipping Chew each way. I thought I'd toss it in. What about the next one? Our feature, the Ashes.
Well, the Ashes, the big one, $20,000 for the winning connections here, and that would be a wonderful Christmas gift, wouldn't it? Just a few days out from Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Might help pay for a few presents, I imagine.
The turkey, get the lobster.
So just in box draw order, he's our design. Mally Magic out of the 2, Sister Roberta, Victor Emma out of the 4, Springvale Max, Springvale Roxy from 6, Carmen Christie from the 7, and 8 Panorama. We spoke about it in the heats. A lot of speed will be in this race. I mean, it's all going to come from the middle with Sister Roberta, Victor Emma, Springvale Max and Springvale Roxy. They're all going to go forward. I did like the run of Carmen Christie last week in running second. I think drawing wider, helps this greyhound. Box 7. I think on an each way base, you might get $7 or $8 about this greyhound in this final. I think that's a really good bet. I think he can range up on the outside of the speed, if not even cross, because he does have speed himself, and possibly be too strong. That's another she. Sorry, I'm going he and she all the time, Carmen Christie. But I do like her on top. It's a wonderful race. I mean, that's Mally Magic. I mean, any feature race in South Australia this dog is in, he tends to win. So I just can't see where he's going to be, Yatesy. He begins 1 in 5. I'm sure the connections are hoping he begins Thursday night. But if he doesn't begin, he's out the back, and I just can't see him running them down. So I'll put him in for second. I like Springvale Roxy for third because I think she might be the first to the rail and make it a bit harder for those on her inside. But maybe Carmen Christie, Mally Magic, Springvale Roxy. Yatesy, how did you read the race?
Look, the Mally Magic one's interesting. Like, to me, puts it all together, just wins. Okay, now I'm going along the thinking that he doesn't put it all together. As you say, if you go back through his form, although big races at Angle Park, he has put it together and won some good ones. Yep. Derby Anniversary Cup, I think, are a couple that spring to mind. But he can win from anywhere, so he doesn't have to put it all together. This is the thing. I mean, what we saw last week was extraordinary. You just don't see what he did. Like, you just do not see that happen. Look, granted, there was a bit of jamming up forward, but from what he did from the back of the straight to the home turn, that little bit there, to pick them up and put them away and then charge on, it was an extraordinary win. Yeah. I can't tip him on top, though, because there's been one I've been waiting to get for a closer to the rail draw, and she's got it tonight. Back 3 ago beaten, back 2 ago beaten, back last start beaten. Sister Roberta's the one I'm going for. Yep. I think she can finally get to where she wants to be. She'll beat Mally Magic out, I'm assuming. He's our design. You know, he can begin and sort of be there. But her run, as good as Mally Magic was, if you go back and have a look at the tape, hers was probably not equally as good because I just spouted on for 2 minutes about how good Mally was. But I'll tell you what, it wasn't far behind for me. I really like the way she stuck to the task, and I think she gets her chance. So I've got her on top. Mally Magic, I've got in as the danger because you just don't do what he did and then not be a chance in a race like this. I've got Panorama, not sure, right side of the track maybe. Look, I know he's got a terrific box 8 record. That said, I think her recent form has been good closer to the fence. And I'm putting in Springvale Max. Just don't think he'll get the rail, so it's a bit of a concern for me there. So I've gone 3 Sister Roberta on an each-way basis there in a pretty tough final.
Yeah, I mean, she is a feature race winner at Angle Park. She did win, take out the Kings and Queens. Yep. So she does know how to win feature races. And as you mentioned, her run last week was really good. It's a terrific addition to the Ashes. I mean, just on the Festival of Fire, Yatesy, just with the whole promotion around it. We normally get about 35 trainers on a normal Angle Park meeting. We had over 50 trainers participate through this series. And again, we've got 50 plus trainers on this Thursday night. So it really does hopefully spread it throughout a whole industry around this initiative. So, I'm really positive around the way it was run this year and the outcomes that we've got. So we couldn't have been more excited for what Thursday night brings. Your best bet, Yatesy, will go to you on Thursday night.
Yeah, I reckon, just on that, by the way, last Thursday night, it was one of the best nights I've been involved with as far as competitive racing. And that everyone had a go. Like, there was something there for everyone, and the way it was set up and the way the races panned out, it was one of the most competitive nights that I can remember over a whole card, and I just expect it's going to be very similar with these 6 big finals on Thursday night. So it's a terrific initiative. There's no doubt about that, just in its second year. I've gone each way, Sister Roberta. I'm pretty happy to be with her in the feature, and I did like later on, you touched on it earlier, and I thought you were spot on, Lochinvar Kale, it just got into a crucial spot where he lost a couple of lengths last run, rebalanced, got going again to chase home Aston Arena, who's a chance in that final earlier on. So it got to wait a bit. It's later on in the night, but I thought it had a good chance. What about you, Matho?
Well, I'm going to go head-to-head with you in the feature final, race 8. I'm going to go head-to-head with Sister Roberta. I like number 7, Carmen Christie, on an each-way base. I think you'll get really good odds about her. So I'm happy to throw her out, and hopefully she can get the job done. I said I'd like to see her range up, second or third, just outside the speed, and I think she can run a really bold race in what is a really hard card of racing, because even the support program, Yates, has brought together some really nice races. So, again, Thursday night, Angle Park, school holiday time, daylight saving time. There's not much else sort of on unless you're out there shopping. So get to the race, or at least have a look and see what it's going to be a wonderful night of racing.
Yeah, no doubt it'll be a terrific night. The Festival of Fire on Thursday night at Angle Park. Matho, good stuff. Mate, have a good Christmas.
Yeah, Yates, same to you and your family. Thank you very much for all your efforts this year in particular. I mean, you've come on board in a more significant way, which I think the industry and certainly GRSA is rapt to have. So you and Tim Edwards as well. Yeah,
good stuff, mate. Well, enjoy everyone, and the Festival of Fire, a big night on Thursday at Angle Park.